Okay, I started recording. Shh, quiet. Okay, so we are going to keep moving through our chapter 7. So before we get started, I wanted to do a little bit of review. Does anybody, I know it was a while back because we had all of last week off, but does anybody want to share anything that you remember from chapter 7 that happened? Can anybody tell me? Cameron? They all went in the wardrobe. Yes, so they're all in Narnia. Bryson?
They met on the beaver and on the bird.
Yes, so they met Mr. and Mrs. Beaver. They had the robin that they were following. Anything else that anyone would like to share? Alina?
Mr. Thomas was not seen in chapter 7.
Okay, we didn't see Mr. Thomas in chapter 7. Rosabella?
Peter, Susan started to believe that Lucy was right.
Okay, yes, so they know that Narnia is real. Back to what Alina said about Mr. Thomas. So, what exactly happened with him? Do we know where he's at, Riley?
He's probably in the White Witch's castle because he didn't take the kids.
So you think that he got captured? Yeah, because what did they find? They went to Mr. Thomas's house, and where was he? He wasn't there. They found a note. What did the note say, Jacob?
He's in her dungeon. That he was taken because he wasn't listening to the queen.
Right.
From the secret police.
Yeah, so he was captured and taken because he was not following the directions of the Queen of Narnia, who we know as the White Witch. Wait?
Was he going to be executed?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. The White Witch seems pretty ruthless.
He does.
Yes.
He does.
Edmund exposed himself about knowing about Narnia. Yeah, so what happened exactly with that? Do you remember, Annalise?
He exposed himself by telling them we should go back lamppost.
Yes. So Edmund was trying to give directions in Narnia, but how would he have known anywhere to go about the lamppost or anything like that if he hadn't already been to Narnia before? So he kind of exposed himself. Yes, Riley?
Well, but if he didn't actually go into Narnia, but he did, but if he didn't and he saw the lamppost, he could have not just gone there and just saw the lamppost.
Yeah, that could have been a guess. He could have just guessed that maybe that was the right direction. All right, last one, Ethan. Okay.
The secret police, why would they even know saying that they're the secret police?
I don't know. I guess we still don't know exactly who they are, so it's still kind of a secret. Okay, so I have a little paragraph on here that I'm going to read out just to give us a quick summary of what happened in chapter 7. We had a lot of great ideas that people remembered happening, but let's see what I have up here. So, in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, chapter 7, it is titled A Day with the Beavers. The Pevensey children, following a robin's guidance, encountered a talking beaver named Mr. Beaver, who reveals that their friend, Tumnus, has been captured by the White Witch. He assures them that he is a trusted ally and leads them to his home, where they meet Mrs. Beaver and learn about the powerful lion, Aslan, who is their only hope against the witch, causing a mix of excitement and fear within the children, particularly Edmund, who seems troubled by the mention of Aslan. So, we talked about Mr. and Mrs. Beaver. They were a huge part of it. The children seemed to trust them, but all the children seemed to have different ideas of what exactly could be happening next in Narnia. Alright, so, if you could turn to chapter 7 of the book, what are some descriptive words that the author uses to describe the children's reactions to Aslan. So turn to chapter 7. Aslan is the lion, who we are somewhat introduced to in chapter 7. But we don't quite meet yet. So we already know from the summary that I gave you, Edmund is not too sure about the idea of the lion. But what are the other children's reactions?
Ooh, it's a great lion.
What, Eden?
They're happy, but they're also a little cautious about it.
Yeah, so maybe it's the fact that he is a lion and they aren't used to talking animals. The beavers aren't so scary animals, so they're not too afraid of them. But a lion, I know that if I saw a lion out in the wild and it started talking to me, I would be really scared and probably confused. So, and they kind of describe the lion as being this powerful person. So, the children might have different ideas, yes? Jacob?
It doesn't say that Aslan is a lion. That just says Aslan. Beaver doesn't tell them that Aslan is a lion.
Okay, what are some of the words they use to describe?
The lion horses.
Quiet.
Says that
Cameron. No.
Says that Edmund felt a sense of mysterious order.
Absolutely not.
Peter felt suddenly brave and adventurous.
Okay. Peter felt brave and adventurous.
Susan felt delicious smell or delightful music.
Okay.
Lucy got the feeling that she wake up in the morning and realize it's the end of the break.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So, some of the ideas. Lucy was excited, and Edmund had a mysterious horror that he felt about the situation. Peter was feeling brave and adventurous, and Susan felt the delicious smell or music that floated by, so she didn't seem to pay much mind to it. Can someone give me some descriptive words of the beaver's home? Yes, Annalise? Welcoming, okay. I'm sure Mrs. Beaver was in there making them feel welcome. Yes, Rosabella?
It's kind of tiny.
Okay, small. Yes, Eden?
It's built like a bear. Oh, it's built like a bear. It's built like a bear, like those,
Okay, so it's got like a burrow area that maybe they dug in. Yes? Okay, do you want me to call someone else? Okay, Annalise? Warm. Jacob? Cozy. So cozy, warm, welcoming, those are all really good words. It is a little snug. It's kind of cluttered. There's a lot in it, but I think that's just because it's smaller. But it is clean. And then, of course, all of the words that you all use of maybe cozy and welcoming and small and snug. Those are definitely all important words that we're going to use. Okay, so alright, so we're going to talk a little bit about conjunctions real quick and figure out some ways for us to finish these sentences that I have on the next slide. So, conjunctions, when you think about why, when you're using the word because, that is going to tell us why or give us a reason. And this also indicates a change of direction, similar to a U-turn, so we're kind of going in the opposite direction. And it tells us what happens as a result of something else, in other words. So, the beavers help the Pavinci children because, why? Why do you think the beavers helped the Pavinci children? Eden?
Because I think so then I just said that she was going to the
Mr. Thomas? Maybe they know that these children have met him before. Janae?
Probably because they didn't want the church to be captured by a white witch.
Yes, maybe the beavers know what the White Witch is capable of, and they don't want the children to be captured by the White Witch. Yes, Alina?
So it says in the book that Mr. Thomas told the beavers about the kids. You see if the kids that watched them. I remember all back in the book, it said the beavers. So like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think it is?
Yeah, okay. Roswell?
Um, so the beavers help the Vinci children because if the beavers are gonna help them, they're gonna have to help the beavers.
So maybe the beavers think that since they're helping the children could give them something in return and help them. That's a good idea. Annalise?
Maybe he was helping them because it said in the book that it was shushing them because the children were very loud and they were talking about what had happened. And in the book it said that the trees, they are, most of them are nice, but some of them are on the white side.
Yes, so they are making them be quiet because they're trying to help them because the trees are spies and they could be working for the White Witch. Cameron, last one.
So maybe Mr. Thomas told the beaver when he had to lead to go to the White Witch and Lucy and tell them where I am.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So, number 2, it says the beavers help the Pavinci children, but, so, going back to our conjunction, but is going to indicate a change of direction. So while we just talked about why they were helping them, what are some reasons maybe that they went in a different direction and maybe aren't being so helpful? Does anybody have any ideas? Alina? Yes, so the beavers help the Pavinci children, but maybe the children were working for the White Witch, and the White Witch had sent them out. The beavers have to be a little cautious of maybe this opposite direction and opposite idea of what could be actually happening. Bella?
Can I add like a little to Alina's?
Yes.
Also is that because wait, oh yeah, because the witch tricked Edmund and bring the children here. So probably just Edmund is on this side of the witch.
Yeah, so maybe Edmund one of the children could be working for the White Witch.
Like the siblings called him a liar.
Right.
That he probably lied to get them to the White Witch.
Yeah, so maybe things could take an opposite turn. Yes, Ethan?
The beavers have the children, but
Maybe the beavers could betray them. Yes, so there could be 2 opposite sides of the story. Maybe they do end up helping each other. Maybe the beavers end up turning on the children. Maybe the children end up turning on the beavers. There's different directions that this could go in. Number 3, real quick, it says the beavers help the Pavinci children. So, why would they help them? So tells us what happens as a result of something else. In other words, a cause and an effect, and a reason and a result. So, if the beavers are helping the children, what could come out of that? What could come out of the beavers helping the children, Jacob? Eden? If the beavers help the Pavinci children, therefore they could save the children from the White Witch. Yes, Annalise? Maybe the beavers could get something from the children. Maybe they could have help help, friendship, some kind of relationship with them, Kaden? Maybe it could go into a bad direction, yes. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we are going to do this slide, and then we're going to get reading in our play. So let's look at these. This is some things that happened in the story that we want to talk about. So, Mr. Beaver, blank, escorted the siblings to his dam. Do we know what could maybe go in here, Jacob? Yes, so Mr. Beaver, who is a talking animal, escorted the siblings to his dam. So we have Mr. Beaver. In the comments right here, we have that he's a talking animal and he escorted the siblings to his dam. Number 2, Peter. So this is going to be describing Peter. What is his role in the group? Peter, blank, asked Mr. Beaver to prove that he was trustworthy, Rosabella. Okay, so Peter, the oldest, Joel. Close. Rosabella. Okay, so Rosabella was really close with the being the oldest, so he's kind of the leader of the pack. He's the oldest. He's going to be leading them. So Peter, the leader of the pack, asked Mr. Beaver to prove that he was trustworthy. Number 3, it says the children, blank, learned of the great Aslan. Yes. The lion. So what did the children kind of, maybe a mix of emotions, yes? No. Okay, so a little curious, Annalise? Yes, scared, maybe nervous, yeah. Okay, so yes, so we're talking about the children. So it says the children, nervous and confused, visitors of Narnia, learned of the great Aslan. So they were nervous and they were confused. That's describing what the children were feeling when they were learning about the lion. Yes, Rosabella? That's just their last name. So it's Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy Pavinci. They're the Pavinci children. It's just their last name. Jacob? Okay, so the last one says that Beaver's home, blank, provide a safe place for the children to eat dinner. Yes. Okay, so the beavers live in a dam. What are some other descriptive words of what their dam was like? 6? That's a good idea. So, heavily decorated haven. So it's kind of cluttered. There's a lot of decorations, a lot going on, very heavily decorated. But haven means kind of a safe place for the kids to be. So while it was heavily decorated, it was very safe. Okay. We are about to, yes, Jeanette? Quiet, Janae's talking.
Okay.
Go on.
How does the children fit in the chairs at the
Yeah, they're probably a little big for the beaver chairs. Beavers are pretty big though. Beavers can be pretty big. Okay, so what we're going to do real quick before we get started reading the play, quiet! Before we get started reading the play, I want you to turn to the person next to you. So y'all 3 will be talking, and then everybody should have a pair. I'll talk to you, Joel. And I want you to think show the play, you tell the story, okay? Ethan?
I forgot to use my single my hair.
Okay, moving on. So I have a little idea of what I found to be the differences in the play and stories. So I'm going to read it off to you. A play is a story that is acted out. Just like stories, plays must have a plot and character development. However, the author of a play, who is just called a playwright, has to include much more dialogue than in a typical story or novel. Shakespeare was known for giving plays dramatic language, costumes, and other theatrical components. These qualities still appear on Broadway today and help viewers understand themes and learn important lessons. Playwrights can even rewrite popular books to appear in dramatic form, like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Often music and sounds make a play more dramatic. Overall, a play helps bring a story to life. All right. So, we are going to read Act 2, Scene 1 of the play, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. One act in groups to establish our understanding. When we are done reading, we are going to react to what we have read. So, we are going to take turns reading Act 2, Scene 1. Please turn to page 23 of the dramatic version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I am going to pick people to come up and read. So please raise your hand if you would like to read. I am just going to pick randomly. So we got to make it quick. Once I say your name, come up here and I'll tell you who you're acting out. So we have Peter. I'm going to have Maddox be Peter. Riley, you're Lucy. Who has not come up here and read before? If you come up and read, put your hand out. Rosabella, have you read before?
Yes.
Okay, Edie, you can come up and read. And I need Edmund, who's going to be Jacob L. Okay. So these are my four siblings. Stop talking. Stop talking. Okay. All right. So we are on page 23. Elizabeth, yes. You don't have a book? Can you look off of Caleb's? Rosabella, what's up? We're switching up people so everyone can get a turn. Okay, so we are on page 23. I need everyone to be quiet so that we can hear the people up here reading. And the people up here reading, y'all need to read loud. So I'm going to go through real quick. Peter, raise your hands. Maddox. Lucy, raise your hands. Riley, Susan. And Edmund is Jacob. Okay. So it says, we are in the spare room later that evening at Rise of Curtain. Peter, Lucy, Edmund, and Susan come on into the spare room. They relax as they sit down or arrange themselves about the room. We start off with Peter.
That was a fine dinner.
Wasn't it good?
No.
Susan?
No, I have a little girl voice.
I don't think Miss Crazy likes said a word all through dinner.
A little too casually.
Oh, nothing happened to me. But wouldn't it be interesting to see if any of this sort of story Lucy has told us is true? What do you mean? Do you think we should take a look inside the wardrobe?
I bet you've been to the other side of the lamppost, Eddie.
To him, please.
I have not.
There wasn't time. He was just a few minutes late for dinner. Time doesn't make any difference. The other side of the lamppost.
I'll do Mr. McGrady. Children, are you in there? Susan?
Oh dear, she's coming. She doesn't like us.
Still off stage, but not closer. I'm showing guests to the house, and I don't want you making any disturbance.
We better hide. Where shall we go? Into the wardrobe. She'll never find us there.
All right, let's go.
Still closer, but still off stage. Be off with you. You'll get a cold breakfast and a cold lunch and a cold dinner. Waving them on.
Into the wardrobe.
As they all pile in and as the lights start to go down, stage one. Peter closes the door behind them. His voice can be heard.
We might need one of these coats.
The lights are dark on stage one and start coming up stage R. Just a voice off stage, you see.
Everything smells of mothballs.
There's something sticking in my back.
Oh. I feel a treat. And look, it's
What are you going to say? Susan.
What?
Get this
Is
part.
it cold? Oh. Is it cold?
It's cold and wet too.
Susan?
Is it cold?
No.
I told you it's always winter there. Here.
Then we better wear one of these coats.
No one's going to care.
Good idea.
I've got one. So have I.
They all come to stage R, struggling into winter coats, all of which are much too large for them. Pausing to look around.
This wet stuff is snow. Why, I do believe we've gotten into Lucy's wood after all.
What do we do next?
I say, why don't we stand a bit more to the left? I bet there's a castle over there or something.
There is a long silence.
So you really were here, weren't you? And you were pretending Lucy was telling lies.
Hotly.
All of the poisonous rats, I'll pay you for this. You wait and see.
After silence.
I think Lucy ought to be the leader. Where should we go, Lucy?
Let's try and find Mr. Tomney. He's a nice blonde I told you about.
Firmly.
Wait,
They all stop.
look, there's something there in the bushes. Mom
Motioning.
mentioning at us.
All turn to look.
There.
One more line. There it goes again.
There it goes again.
Behind the big tree.
Then Mr. Beaver appears. Hush.
What is it?
You must come with me, but be very quiet. Loudly.
How do we know we can trust you?
Here, you can't trust anyone, not even the trees. Even some of them are spies. He looks around. You're not safe in the open.
I trust you.
Are you the sons of Adam and the daughters of Eve?
Some of them. I still don't know that we can trust you.
Here's my token. Then he holds up Lucy's white handkerchief. After a moment,
That's the handkerchief I gave Mr. Thomas.
poor fellow,
Did something happen to him?
nodding. Yes, he thought they were on to him. He gave me the handkerchief just before the secret police came to take him. He told me to meet you here and lead you on. He motions them closer, then whispers, "They say Aslan is on the move. Perhaps he has already landed." After a pause, straightening,
What about Mr. Thomas?
Shh, not here. I must bring you where we can have a real talk and also dinner. He leads them to DR, the curtain comes down behind them, and the lights go out for a moment. I'll lead the way, but be careful and don't slip. Here's where we go into the tunnel. Join hands, sons of Adam and daughters of Eve, and one of you take hold of my tail and follow me. The light comes up dimly in front of the curtain, and the 4 children and Mr. Beaver are seen crawling along on their hands and knees towards hell.
Where are we? It's so damp and cold.
I feel water on the walls. Are we under a lake or a river?
Yes, under the lake my dam created.
Is it safe?
For my friends, yes. For the friends of the White Witch, the walls sometimes collapse.
Perhaps the White Witch isn't as bad as they say.
You almost sound as if she has you under a spell.
Of course she doesn't. How do you know friends from enemies?
There's a signal.
What is it?
I'll tell you when the time comes.
Tell me now. Mr. Beaver will not tell us at the right time.
We're almost there. They all crawl off stage L. The lights come up on the little home of Mr. and Mrs. Beaver. The L as the curtain goes up. It's a small, cozy home with a table and some chairs, all small. There's a curtained doorway at the rear. Miss Beaver is busily preparing a meal. As they go in, Miss Beaver, I found them. Here are the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve. So you've come at last, she holds out her hands. At last, to think that I should ever live to see this day. The potatoes are boiling and the kettle's singing, and Mr. Beaver caught us a nice fish this morning. Then let's eat. Our guests look hungry. Do you take off your coats? It's warm and snug in here.
Can we help? We'll set the table.
I took a peek out the window a minute ago. It's starting to snow. For once, that's all the better. If anyone was trying to follow us, he won't find any tracks.
And now, do please tell us what happened to Mr. Thomas?
That's bad. A very, very bad business. There's no doubt that he was taken off by the police. I got that from a bird who saw it done.
Where's he been taken to?
They were headed northward, and that means they've taken him to the White Witch's house.
What will happen to him?
We don't know for sure. Not many taken in there ever come out again. But the castle is full of statues in the courtyard. Up the stairs in the hall, we think she turns them into stone. He shudders. Statues. Stone. Statues.
Can't we rescue him?
Not a chance. It may be different now that Aslan is on the move. Now all you sit and eat. They do. Handing things about.
Who is Aslan?
Aslan? Why don't you know? He's the king. He's the lord of the whole wood, but not often here. You understand? Never in my time or my father's time. But the world has come that he's back. He'll settle the White Witches all right. As they say in the old rhyme, wrong will be right when Aslan shows his might. At the sounds of his roar, sorrows will be more. When he bares his teeth, winter meets his death. And then he shakes his mane, we shall have spring again. You'll understand when you see him.
Shall we see him?
Why, daughter of Eve, that's what I brought you here for. I'm to lead you to where you shall meet him. At this point, Edmund slides off his chair and starts to move slowly and stealthily towards the curtain which hangs over the door.
I want to meet him, though it does scare me a little.
That's right, son of Adam. Mr. Beaver bangs his paw on the table, setting things to rattling. And so you shall. Word has been sent. You're to meet him tomorrow at the great stone table. I'll show you the way.
But what about poor Mr. Thomas?
The quickest way to help him is by going to meet Aslan, for he wants you. There's another old rhyme we have. When Adam's flesh and Adam's bone sit at prevail and groan. Edmund exits. The evil time be over and done, so things must be drawing near the end now.
But isn't the witch human?
She'd like us to think so, but she comes of the jinns and the giants. No, there isn't a drop of real human blood and the witch, and that's why she's bound to be so afraid, because there are four of you. Down at Kerpervale, which ought to be the capital of the whole country, if all were as it should be, down at Kerpervale, there are four thrones. It's a saying here: time out of the mind, that when two sons of Adam and two daughters of Eve sit on those four thrones, then it will be the end, not only of the white witch's reign, but of her life. So if she knew about the four of you, then your lives wouldn't be worth a shake of your whiskers.
We aren't four anymore. Edmund's gone. Where is he? Who saw him last? Not me. How long has he been gone? I would He can't have Edmund! Well, Mr.
Quiet, what's on?
Looks not as though Edmund has gone up. We'll have to divide into four searching parties and look north, south, east, and west.
Searching party, son of Adam, what for?
Why, to look for Edmund, of course.
There's no point in looking for him.
He can't be that far.
There's no use in looking.
We've got to find him. What do you say there's no use in looking?
The reason is that we know where he's gone. Don't you understand? He's gone to her, to the White Witch. He's going there to betray us. Okay, we are going to stop right there. So please, thank you, my beautiful actors. Amazing. Okay, go sit down. Thank you. I am going to have Okay, so really quick, some of the differences between the play and novel. Edmund left, they didn't follow the red bird. Edmund got exposed for already meeting the White Witch. The siblings didn't go to Mr. Thomas's house. Beaver explained who Aslan was, and they didn't go catch fish with Mr. Beaver. Edmund mentioned a castle in the play, but he mentions a lamppost in the novel. What do we think? The author would make these changes. The plot has to happen a lot quicker in a play to be performed live. Okay, so I'm going to have Jacob L. pass around a loose leaf piece of paper. So please write your name and number on it for the exit ticket. Name and number on it for your exit ticket. Do you need help opening that, Jacob?
I dropped my eraser and the camera caught me. No, like this one.
Make sure your name and number is on it for the exit ticket.
We have an exit ticket.
You have an exit ticket? I hope she doesn't show the video.
She is going to show you.
Make sure your name and number is on it. You need about 3 sentences describing some of the differences between the play and the novel. Joel, will you